Nick, I'll start with you. My expressions aside, you surprised Harden reportedly said no to becoming the first $50 million a year player?
No, because at this point, money, it's not that it's meaningless to James Harden, but it's close to it. Some figures for you. $200 million. That's how much guaranteed money James Harden has generated off the court, thanks to Adidas. $210 million. That's how much guaranteed money James Harden has already earned on the court. And $140 million, that's how much guaranteed money James Harden has left on his current contract. Add all those figures up, and you get well over $500 million. So no, agreeing to pick up his player option and then tack 2 more years on the back end of a deal for a team that is no longer stewarded by Daryl Morey, I'm not surprised it's not attractive to him. Brandon, the only thing left for James is a championship. He's got the MVP, right. He's got the scoring title, got the assist title. He's one of the 30 greatest players in the history of the sport, statistically speaking. But he is not talked about like that because he's been to 1 finals and it was as a 6th man. So no, I'm not surprised that he doesn't want to tie the next 5 years of his career to a team in Houston, Brandon, that he does not know what it's going to look like.
Yeah, so I think if he goes to Brooklyn, they win the championship. And I've been shocked in the last few days the amount of people saying it doesn't work. And always the sign of if something is going to work or not. And Nick, I know we talk about it, is like, what does your opponent not want you to do? So you know that's like, hey, Anthony Davis, great news. Kyrie and KD got James Harden. Fantastic. We're going to roll to another championship. Yes, also Taco Tuesday. We just know it's going to we just know they're going to win the championship. The tricky part here is the narrative needs to switch on James Harden if this moves. Because James Harden, to be frank, was viewed as sort of a me-first, selfish player. His usage rate has always been, through the roof. He was 2 last year. Russ was like 4 or 5 last year. So the idea that he can't sort of move the ball, like, don't we want this, Nick, as like the evolution of Harden? The media has been dying for this. Like, oh, you can't win this way. You can't win this way. It's like, yeah, I know. That's why I want to move. So I think we're seeing a huge narrative shift around what people think or the one way people think Harden can play.
Well, and Jenna, I know you're going to lead to it, but my question, Wilds, would be, and then I'll kick it to you, Jenna, does James Harden want to change the way he plays, or does James Harden want to change where he plays that way? And I think I think we know he wants a change of scenery. I don't know if we know he wants to change, Jenna, how he plays.
Well, that's just it. So obviously the first thing that comes to mind when you think about a deal like this is how these 3 personalities are going to mesh. You got James Harden. You just talked about it. His usage rate. You got Kevin Durant. Also likes the ball. You got Kyrie. Also likes the ball. Does it work on the court? Does it work off the court? Nick, I'll send it back to you. What do you think? How do these 3 personalities mesh?
Well, the personalities is a very tough one to answer because KD is a unique guy unto himself. Kyrie Irving is the definition of, call it mercurial, to be nice. Mm-hmm. And Harden is a guy who really has not, he's been actually somewhat close guarded into who he is off the court with the media. Yeah. I think basketball-wise, Brandon, KD and Harden would work great. Because Durant, one thing he proved in Golden State is the big playoff moments aren't too much for him. He's not afraid of them, and that is where Harden has struggled. I do not see at all how Kyrie Irving fits into this, Brandon, and my guess would be if this does happen and they don't win the title, that Kevin Wildes was so gracious to just hand them as if LeBron James has retired from the league. I mean, it was very nice what Kevin Wildes just did. I think Kyrie Irving, who was supposedly going to be Kevin Durant's wingman, Kyrie Irving would be the one in trade discussions a year from now if this got done and it didn't end in a championship.
All right, Wilds, I want to get your take on this. Let's play a little drawing a blank. In the midst of all the craziness last night, Harden posted this video to his Instagram story, uncapping his bottle of water. So many different ways to interpret this. Wilds, Harden's Instagram video is blank.
Great. I mean, I just love this. I just could not love it anymore. The idea that we're like, hey, we're waiting to hear from James Harden. It's like, okay, everyone, how about a riddle? How about an old school, like, medieval riddle that you can't figure out? We don't even know what he's referring to. Everyone knows. Everyone knows what this is. I'm not gonna. I have to be like the. Oh my gosh! All right, if it's a cap, it's a lie. If it's no cap, it's the truth. So it's where is he? Is he focusing on the cap? Is he focusing? Is he not focusing on the cap? Is it in reference to wanting to go to Brooklyn? Is it in reference to the $50 million offer? So Nick, first of all, James Harden, who doesn't do a lot of media except for like a Russ happy birthday, just chef's kiss of a riddle of a social media use. I love it.
Brandon, I don't think it's a riddle. Now, Harden might be lying, but I think Harden is calling cap on all of the rumors surrounding him. I think Harden is trying to say, don't believe what you're reading and what you're hearing about me, Brandon. To me, that's very clearly what he's doing here.
I'm sorry. This is less about Harden and more about Jenna and our production meeting. Oh. Jenna's like, is he trying to highlight? Is this his water company?
I have no idea. But to be fair, in my defense, I never have any
audience cap, no cap.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.